May have to do a
Good
little
evening, everybody. Welcome to the Springfield Township Board of Trustees meeting, November 9th, 2021, at approximately 5:30. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Ms. Davis?
Present.
Mr. Honolo?
Present.
Mr. Bernie?
Present.
All the trustees are present.
If everyone could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming, and I think, Chief Leininger, I think you have a presentation to make.
I do, yes. Thank you, sir. It is an honor and a privilege to recognize two firefighters tonight. The first one is Lieutenant Roger Sarvis. Lieutenant Paramedic Firefighter Roger Sarvis has served the residents of Springfield Township for 46 years. He started his career with the Northern Hills Volunteer Fire Department in 1974 and served 22 years as a volunteer paramedic firefighter. In 1996, Roger was one of the first part-time paramedic firefighters hired by the new Springfield Township Fire Department. In 1999, he was promoted to full-time lieutenant paramedic firefighter and served in that capacity for 21 years. Paramedic firefighter Fred Sarvis has served the residents of Springfield Township for 50 years. He started his career with the Northern Hills Volunteer Fire Department in 1991 and served for 26 years as a volunteer paramedic firefighter. He became one of the first paramedics in Southwest Ohio. Fred was instrumental in influencing and training hundreds of young EMTs to become paramedics. In 1996, Fred was one of the first part-time paramedic firefighters hired by the new Springfield Township Fire Department. He served in that capacity for 24 years. Together, Roger and Fred have devoted 96 years of their life providing fire and EMS service to the people that live, work, and visit Springfield Township. Their legacy is the hundreds of EMTs, paramedics, and firefighters that they have managed, trained, and served with for years. We thank them for their years of service and wish them well as they start a new journey of retirement. Fred and Roger, if you could come up, please.
We would like to present you guys with these certificates of appreciation, but they are a small, small piece of how we all feel. I mean, I can't even imagine 50 years, 46 years, let alone 50 years. And I know, obviously, Rob talked about the value you had in training, and obviously that's the most important thing, I think, along with all your service. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Do you think they need to say something?
The biggest honor is just to have my family and all the people that are out here. I can't say enough how much I appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you, Fred and Roger.
probably don't have much choice.
Thank you, Mr. Burning, for an opportunity to recognize Fred and Roger. Thank you.
I've been here for 20 years, and I think that's the most I've heard Roger say in those 20 years.
Well, I'm just thinking, is there anybody that holds close to that record here in the township?
No.
And I don't think there's anybody,
Well, and to think,
coming up in the wings either.
so there's another brother. So, hold on. The legacy continues because Tom Sarvis, there's Tommy. Tom Sarvis,
Yeah?
how many does he have for? 42 years.
Wow.
Yes. So I think that record's going to be tough to beat.
Tom, you can't retire now.
I have 40. I have 40.
Well, thank you, your whole family. Thank you. Mr. Burning, do you have a financial report?
Yes, Mr. Burning, for the month ending October 31st, 2021, the township's expenditures were $2,422,245.50, and the receipts were $905,357.09. The ending cash balance of $30,047,867.43 includes obligations to expenditure, payroll, regular operating costs, ongoing capital improvement projects, and investment. This is tough, watching everyone leave. I request a motion to approve the receipts, warrants, payroll expenditures, and update and current revenue and reports for the period ending 10/13/21. Do I have a motion?
We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And I just want everyone to know that financial reports are available in the administration offices weekdays during regular business hours or on our website 24/7. Thank you, Mr. Burning.
Thank you, Mr. Burning. Mr. Gilbert, do you have department action and discussion items for us tonight?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Burning. The first item on the agenda is something we do typically this time every year, which is I'm asking to authorize the administrator to sign an agreement with the City of Mount Healthy for the purchase of salt. As the board is aware, due to our capacity to store salt, Mount Healthy has asked in past years if we would be willing to sell them up to, I think it's 500 tons, right, Mike?
That's correct.
Up to 500 tons of salt in the event that they would need it. The agreement specifies, though, that they will pay our cost of replacing that salt. So if we were to buy it at $50 a ton and it's stored in there, we're not selling it to them for $50 a ton. We're going to sell it to them what it's going to cost us to replace it, which in some years it actually is more expensive. So we're not losing any money when we sell them salt at a particular price. We're actually selling it to them what our replacement cost is, not our actual purchase cost. So it's a win-win for both them and us, because if we don't use it all, then we're able to sell off some of the salt. But at the same time, we make sure that our residents travel through Compton Road in different areas which they treat. So just making sure that they have the adequate supplies to make the road safe not only benefits our residents but theirs as well, and at the same time doesn't impact our ability to provide that service to our residents. So it's generally been a good agreement. So I'm just asking for a motion to authorize the township administrator to execute that agreement.
Do we have a motion?
Before we make the motion, I just say these kind of things are important. It's a way that, we collaborate with our local government, all the local governments around us, and it's just good. It's good policy for everybody involved, particularly the taxpayers.
We have similar agreements with school districts as well. We do the same for them.
Exactly. And I'll make that motion.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second. I said so moved. So
Oh.
moved. Just to
All
clarify
right.
the record. Thank
I had you as the second,
Thank
but
you.
that's okay. All in favor?
you. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
You know, the last thing regarding that, it helps, it's an environmental thing as well, because if we weren't able to store that salt and provide it to those various entities and school districts, they would store it outside. And what happens when it rains is that salt then travels into different waterways and different things throughout the community. So it has a positive environmental effect as well. Next on the agenda is appointment of Arts and Enrichment Council board members. Kim, I don't know if you want to enlighten us on what exactly we're looking at here, but this is the 3 appointments that the Township Board of Trustees make to the Arts and Enrichment Council, correct? Yes. And in regards to that, they have to be employees of the township, given how that nonprofit is structured, correct? So with that being said, you have the slate of candidates in front of you. It would be Tom Snyder, Kim Cox, and Karen Dills, all township employees. Their terms would expire December 31st of 2023. So unless there are any questions of the board, I would ask for a motion to appoint those members to the Arts and Enrichment Council.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next thing we have here is the Arts Center holiday schedule. It looks as though they will be closed on Thanksgiving from the 25th of November through the 28th, and then December 20th through the January 2nd for Christmas and New Year's. I don't know that we need a motion to have the Arts Center closed. I don't know why that's under an action item.
You guys have done that in
Okay,
the past, they've done that.
okay, okay. Well, if you would like to make a motion to close
So
the Arts
moved.
Center those days.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we have, under discussion items, we have the Firefighter Dependency Fund Board meeting. Rob, looks like you're proposing December 14th at 5:15.
That is correct. We're required to have our annual meeting each year according to the Ohio Revised Code, Section 146.03 and 146.04. Current board members are Trustee Mark Burning, Trustee Christy Dukes Davis, Robert Leininger, Lieutenant Tom Sarvis, and retired firefighter Paul Tenzing. So if that is approved tonight, we will meet prior to the next trustee meeting.
Okay. And I think that's just simply discussion item. This board doesn't set that date.
That's correct.
All right. Next is personnel update. In the fire department, we had obviously the retirement of Roger Sarvis, as everyone just participated and seen the years of service that Roger and his father Fred had given to this community. And then we had the hiring of Jameer Johnson as a recruit in the police department, date of hire October 13th, 2021. And pretty light personnel update this month. I think it's the first time in a while it hasn't been multiple pages. With that being said, I'll turn it over now to Kim for community events programs.
Thank you. We have 3 more events for the end of the year. The next one is the Local Art Show. That is this weekend on Friday, November the 12th and Saturday the 13th. That event is being held at Centennial Barn this year. Friday's events are going from 7 until 10 o'clock p.m. and Saturday goes from 10 a.m. till 2 in the afternoon. And then on December the 5th, we have 2 events. We'll start off in the afternoon with a lunch with Santa, Madcap Puppet Show, hay rides. That is a ticketed event this year. And then later on in the evening at 4 o'clock, the Cincinnati Civic Orchestra will give their annual holiday concert, and that is a free event starting at 4 o'clock p.m.
All right, thank you. With that being said, board has copies of the departmental activity reports. And one last thing, I know we only have a few people in the audience, but some people may be watching. We get a lot of questions. We've had meetings with staff over the last few weeks, some of our new hires, and I generally do a Township 101 in the morning, and then we talk about other things, and they usually have questions about things that are happening in the township. And I think it's important to note that people hear a lot of rumors of developments that are happening in the community, and we don't speak a lot about it at these meetings, and that's intentional because we don't control the development. So, and a lot of times it happens to be sort of the worst kept secret in the world, and we know that people ask us questions, and we either look like we have no idea what's going on, so we're incompetent, or we're lying. But in reality, we know about it. We're hesitant to say anything for a few reasons. One in which the developing community doesn't really like us to publicize developments when they haven't actually made a formal application for anything yet. And then two, sometimes these developments don't happen for a myriad of reasons that are completely outside of our control. So we generally stay quiet until we know it's almost a done deal. Some people have heard the rumors of, Chick-fil-A and different things, and we're obviously aware of that. And yes, there have been communications between the township and those developers that would look to develop a Chick-fil-A restaurant and most recently possibly a city barbecue restaurant. So we are working with them. They haven't made a formal application yet. So while these are rumors out there, we acknowledge them. We can't foresee with any certainty that they're going to happen. So I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that we know about them, we're working on them, but at the same time, if it doesn't happen, things don't happen a lot that are completely out of our control. That's why we generally stay quiet until it's a little more of a sure thing, and until you see bulldozers doing something, anything can happen. So I think, and the reason I'm bringing it up now is because we get a lot of questions from staff regarding those things. And when I'm trying to be coy, sometimes they look at me like, just tell us. And so I think it's important to know why we don't communicate those things as much as we can, or people think we should, is we don't want to, get people's hopes up. Potentially, maybe you don't like those places. I don't know. But a lot of times people are excited about stuff and it doesn't happen, and then we look like we didn't know what we were talking about. So that's why sometimes silence is better. But I think, the board obviously is aware of these things. Staff keeps them up to date. But when we're allowed and we think the time is right, we'll make announcements. But until then, we will remain to refrain from saying anything, even though I just did.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Next, we have our resolutions. First, we have resolution number 109-2021, authorizing private sale of unneeded and unfit for use property in the police department. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next is resolution number 110-2021, establishing appropriation accounts in local fiscal recovery fund and supplemental appropriations in local fiscal recovery fund, fire district fund, and state law enforcement forfeitures fund. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next is resolution number 111-2021, declaring nuisances pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 505.87 at various listed properties within Springfield Township and authorizing statutory actions necessary to abate the nuisances. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next is resolution number 112-2021, establishing assessment for abatement of nuisance and certifying same to the Hamilton County Auditor. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Those are all the resolutions. Do Joe, Christie have any old business?
I do not.
Any new business?
I do not.
Well, I would just say under old business, last week the voters voted and returned Mr. Burning and myself to the board. We appreciate the support of the electorate, and we're going to continue to work hard to make Springfield Township a better place. I think we have a lot of new exciting things that'll be coming here to kind of add to the accomplishments we've had in the past, and we're going to work hard to make things even better.
I agree. Thank you all for voting.
Just one more thing, and speaking with Ms. Abrams here, I think I'm going to request that we adjourn into executive session for a short time to talk about collective bargaining. Chief and I had met with the FOP last week, and I just wanted to update the board on how those negotiations are going. So In order to do that, I would request that we adjourn into executive session to discuss collective bargaining.
And then come back for,
We'll have to come out to close the meeting, but there will be no action as a result of the executive session, so.
yes, but we'll do citizen participation.
You can do that now.
Yes.
Why don't we do
You can do
that?
Yes,
now.
that's what I'm,
Why don't we do that? Is there anybody that would like to address the board? Okay, if nobody would like to address the board, then why don't we adjourn and go into,
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the public portion of the meeting and move into executive session for the purposes of discussing collective bargaining.
second.
All those, Ms. Davis,
Roll call.
Aye.
Mr. Honolo,
Aye.
Mr. Bernie,
aye?
we're in the executive session.
Thank you all for coming.